Good evening, Chops Media.
Very, very pleasant evening to you, sir. Very pleasant evening to you, Harry, Caroline, and your guest.
Coming back to you. Remember, if you're in Jamaica, 876-858-9553. That's 876-858-9553. So Chops.
Yes, my brother. How are you doing?
Yeah. The Labour Party in September called upon us to choose Jamaica, and we did.
Yes.
But having chosen Jamaica, Chops, don't you think that we now need to lift that to a commitment to Jamaica? Because we have chosen. But having made that choice, how is the party now engaging around the choice that the people make to get them to commit to the building, to the preserving, to the protecting of the choice they made?
Neighbor, this is perhaps one of the issues that we have as a political organization, is that I don't know if we have mastered the art of riding and whistling. You know, we have never been traditionally good at politicking. We've always scored a very low mark in the politicking field. I think we forced the Jamaican people in the last election to look beyond our ability to politic and look at our performance. It is perhaps the first time in Jamaica's political history that performance really rewarded us victory at the polls. The People's National Party has always been better at politicking. And the reason I'm raising that is because the question you're asking resides in some level of politicking.
Yes.
We have always consistently been very good at governing, running the affairs of the country in a very prudent and fiscally responsible way. But we have never been able to simultaneously attach the politics to that. And I think that's where we have to double down in order for us to now maximize on what we have asked persons in the last election cycle to choose Jamaica. And you're correct. They did.
Yeah, but part of it, you see, because I think it's a fantastic theme, a fantastic election campaign. But you have to get the people to continue to believe in what they are doing. And I'm saying to you, why not let us pivot now to, let's commit to Jamaica. Let's commit to building what we have chosen. Because having chosen on September 3rd, we don't just left it alone, sir. We need to now commit to a building of the Jamaica that we have chosen, and holding those who we have placed in charge to account, so that Jamaica may, under God, sir, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. By God's Chops Media, we have come too far. Yes, we have gone through the cycles of ups and downs. Now we have stability, Chops Media. We need to commit to this.
And I think that's a very good call, neighbor. And it is something that I think should come from not just the party, but every well-thinking Jamaican should be heeding that call and should be really rallying around that such a call. because again, it is all well and good for us to choose Jamaica on a particular day, during a particular period, but transforming or transferring that choice that you made into a full-fledged commitment is going to take a lot of work. Jamaicans are not easy people to deal with, neighbor. And you said some things earlier in your earlier comments, and they resonate with me. There's some time ago when I was very much active on social media, I've always posited the argument about not one who believed truly in democracy. A matter of fact, I had at some point. It has its weaknesses.
It has its weakness.
Yes, it does. It does, and it has its place. There's space in a country or in a world where it is needed, but it cannot be the sole driver of development in the world. Because, for example,
because look at what I said. Without cutting you, that the government wanting to bring crime down. Murders are all over the place. They put in a system that is working, and the opposition bring it to court and they have to lift it up. What can go so?
And that because is
you know that under the social contract theory, the people give the government the authority. Not they don't give it to the opposition.
Exactly. Hello? Exactly. And it is in that vein that you really want to look at it and say, is it really worth it? You see, neighbor, you touched something there that is very, 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 how should I put it? It's very personal to me. And I tell you why. I remember when the first zone of special operation and SOE was declared, when Jamaica was under siege by criminals. Yeah?
Yes.
I was living in Atlanta at the time. And I was a part of the Diaspora. I was part of that group of persons who were consistently fed a steady diet that Jamaica is a failed state. Yeah? I was living in a country where Jamaicans who are members of the Diaspora, we were fed a steady diet that Jamaica was a failed state. The last unaliving that went on at the airport in Montego Bay, for me, was a straw that broke the camel's back. And I said, this is really getting out of hand now. Every single day there was 3, 4, quadruple, double. It was just unbearable.
Yes.
And when we declared the first state of public emergency and the soldiers were rolling into Montego Bay, I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember when those soldier trucks turned up into Norwood, and some up into South St. James, and some up into Salt Spring. And I remember when people were just like, cheering along. And I remember 9 months after that public state of emergency was declared, and the statistics came out, that we had a 77% reduction in murder in Montego Bay.
Very much remembered it, sir.
77%. And overall throughout Jamaica, because there were some additional state of public emergencies that were declared, because once you started to squeeze Montego Bay, which was the hotbed at the time, then they started to run into other areas, and there were some other public state of emergencies that were declared, including Spanish Town. And neighbor, the general that year, it was 2018, were declared in 2017 and 2018 when the statistics came in. 77% in Montego Bay and an overall 25% reduction throughout Jamaica. We've never seen that before.
Sir.
And
let me take you back a little. And Chops Media. I was a very strong admirer of Eddie Siaga, and if it is one heartbreak I've had in politics was when he lost the
89. Yes, sir.
Yes. Don't you agree with me, sir, that it probably is one of the worst mistakes the Jamaican people could have made when they did not re-elect Siaga in 1989?
That was a turning point in Jamaica, sir. And if you were really to do the assessment, and I've always encouraged young people to not just listen to persons like myself who would have lived through those periods, and yourself and
Yes,
others,
sir.
but do your own research and come to your own conclusion that what we are saying here is 100%.
Yeah, because that
Jamaica made one of the biggest mistakes
of
in 1980.
18 and a half years of our worst time in Jamaica.
That took away. Remember, neighbor, when the JLP came into power in 1980 under Eddie Seaga, he inherited an economy that was really just on the verge of just collapsing. Yeah, we've
Right.
lost the entire 70s because of wrong decisions by Michael Manley. And I know you are saying that, and I know what you are saying, You're saying that 1989 gave us 18 and a half consecutive years of the PNP. And those years saw 44,000 businesses collapse, and all, if
But
not
sir,
most
when you
of
look at the global economy and how the world at that time expanded,
15%, sir. 15%.
it was an amazing that Jamaica could move.
And we were pedaling backward, sir. We were pedaling backward. This was a period when the dot-com period, sir. The dot-com period is equivalent to the industrialization period, where countries grew and the world bubbled. And at a time when the rest of the world was going from 5% to 15%, Jamaica was pedaling backward, closing down our entire financial system, sir. And I know that's why you're making the comparison that period is worse.
Yes, sir. And then if you look at Jamaica today and you look at the 03 election, and I know that you have given me a brilliant analysis of how strong the Labour Party is today, and how the impressive win was on September 3rd. But then there is another argument, Chops, that if only 10,000 people separate both parties. How could we, after that experience, have come so close to making that mistake again?
You see, neighbor, again, and that I think Jamaica's political cycle is worth a study. It's worth a university to really spend some time and dig into it and give it a real good study and write about it, because this is a case.
Hold your point. Would you have been able to recover from a heartbreak had the party lost on September 3rd?
I don't know if I could, neighbor. I gave this one my all. You know why? Because I just could not afford.
Yes.
You know, and I've always said to you that I have not. My full story has never been told. Because let me tell you, neighbor, I left the United States and came back to this country with 100% commitment to working and to helping my country get to where it's at today. I believe, you see, what separates me, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I have to say it. What separates me from a lot of other Jamaicans, you know, especially those who reside in the diaspora, is that I believed in Jamaica when it was at its worst. When nobody believed in us, when our very own Jamaicans were saying that we were a failed state.
To the graves or to be buried.
Yes, they bet against Jamaica. People ask me if me crazy, where are you going? You're a madman. You leave America and going back to Jamaica, you're crazy. Because Jamaica was under siege at the time, neighbor. But I believed in the Jamaica Labour Party policies. I believe in the leadership of Andrew Michael Holness. And I'm going to search for these archives document and speeches that I made. Because I remember when I said Jamaica needed a one-term prime minister. And the backdrop for me saying that was that I know that the political electorate in Jamaica is very, I don't want to use the word ungrateful, but they're not very keen on people doing the right thing. They want political correctness. And at the time I said, I think Jamaica really need a one-term prime minister who is going to go into parliament, go into governance, and do what is right for Jamaica and not necessarily what is politically correct. And just fix it once and for all. Thanks to God.
No,
we got that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No. Let me ask you, Chops. Is the fourth term? No. Looking at Jamaica, is the fourth term not more critical and important than the third?
Well, I've been saying that. And somebody said to me the other day, but you said the third was more important than the second.
It is fundamentally important that the past.
Absolutely.
Continue.
Just think about what happened in 1989. Think about where Jamaica came from in 1980, and think about the decision in 89 and what it cost us. A matter of fact, think about the choices that you have now in front of you. Assess the opposition and tell me to my face that they have demonstrated to the Jamaican people that they have the policies to continue to push this country forward. Have they denounced the behavior of the past PNP? They have not done so. They have not said to us that they have it within them to come with some policies that would move the country forward. Take, for example, neighbor, just look at the last budget debate, the opening on the budget debate just a couple of days ago. Look at the dismal performance of the PNP. They could not commit anything that was tangible enough to you see, neighbor, what a lot of young people don't recognize is that the way how the budget is set up. It is set up in a way that when the opposition speaks, the reason the government's finance minister closes is because he or she is expecting that an opposition is going to bring something.
Make suggestions. We'll make suggestions.
Yes, and we had that in the past. They
can take on in the budget.
Yes, we've had that in the past. But we don't have that in this opposition now. They have not sat down and craft anything that makes sense. I heard you mention it earlier. One of the things that they came with was recommending that they would go to the Bank of Jamaica and take money out of it. Come on, man.
As an independent bank, sir.
Come on, sir. Are they living in the same country as us? Weren't they at the table when the Bank of Jamaica became an independent institution? Free and fear of political interference? They weren't a part of that discussion? Come on now. Come on. Yeah. We can't afford to make that mistake again, neighbor. Cannot afford to.
No, not at all. No, one of the things that I want to also explore, Chops, is that Jamaica, despite all its successes, I listened to Damian King at the Capri last night, is that we are still a very fragile and open economy that is exposed to a lot of risk and shocks. Chops media. If we are not careful at this point, I feel so passionate about it that Jamaica cannot miss this moment. We must continue on a path of fiscal stability, Chops media. I say at least for the next 10 years. We cannot divert at this point.
But Damien,
this to me don't have nothing to do with politics. This is the type of country that I want to live in, the type of country that my children must inherit, and I feel I need to fight for it.
And I agree with you. It is worth fighting for. Damian King made a very excellent point and used a very great analogy in that he said, look, even now more than ever, it is important for us to continue the path of debt reduction, because the lower you can keep your debt, is the quicker you're able to rebound, and the more stable you become after a hurricane. The only reason why we're able to be so strong, neighbor, is because we took the right decisions in making sure that the debt was that low, that even after 50% hit,
we could get money to borrow, because who would
neighbor, man,
if your debt to GDP was over 200%?
So think about it. Even
but
with
it is fascinating, It is fascinating, Chops, that that these discussions are not held in media. The people of Jamaica are not exposed to the type of analysis that would get them to understand what is happening and what is really before
a lot
them.
of our media houses, the media houses that we are accustomed to, neighbor, people in my age group who are accustomed to media houses that were credible and were tasked with the responsibility of educating and informing Jamaicans. Those media houses are long gone. They are bought and paid for by political interests.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You know, so we have to rely on people like yourself and others who will use unconventional means, the social media, which is really now where it's at, and to try and ensure that we provide people with accurate and factual information. I'm happy that a lot of the persons who are quote unquote blogging, on behalf of the JLP or supporting the JLP in social media, they have really positioned themselves from a position of facts and not just fiction or propaganda. And I'm happy for that. I'm happy that I can say that most of the persons who I've tuned into, who supports the Jamaica Labour Party and the government, they have always grounded their conversations and nothing but facts when compared to the other.
Chops, what has been your if you should speak generally, what has been your greatest disappointment about this country, Jamaica? As you have grown up here as a boy and you are a big man now, looking back, what has been your greatest disappointment?
My greatest disappointment, neighbor, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you, and this is not immersing my mind into the politics, but my biggest disappointment, is that we lost an opportunity in the 1970s to align ourselves properly, geopolitically and otherwise, and to continue with that 18.5% growth that we had in 1970. Yes. I'm disappointed. I was born in 1973. And I know when I do my research, I go back and I realize that where Jamaica was then was even better than where it is today. And we lost that opportunity.
How could such a talented people, Chops? We're not a nation without potential. We have not lacked ability. We have not lacked talent. Why haven't we not made it?
We haven't because neighbor, we were hijacked. I think Jamaica's independence, I think Jamaica was hijacked. I can't put it any milder than that. I think it was hijacked by persons who were in pursuit of their own ideological satisfaction.
Yes.
And that to me was where we lost it. Just think about, neighbor, if we had the same level of diplomacy in the 1970s like we have today. Just think about that. If we manage our geopolitical alignment back in the 1970s, the way we are managing it today, and we did not put ourselves into the crosshair of the United States, where would Jamaica be today? Do you believe that Singapore, who utilized our economic model and became a beacon through the Asia peninsula there, do you think that any country in this Western Hemisphere could be stronger than Jamaica?
No, sir. I told my listeners earlier that Israel, sir, is about twice the size of Jamaica. Yes. Israel, sir, has one of the most powerful military in the world. You hear me telling you something, sir?
Yes.
So it's not the size of your country. It is the type of leadership you have.
It matters. Leadership matters. And, I like to talk to young people, neighbor. I like to talk to new voters and young people who perhaps would have never seen a People's National Party in governance. I like to talk to young people who might not have who might be saying, why talk about the 70s? Oh, that's gone. It's not important. It is as important today as it was then. You know, your past is not something for you to dwell on, but your past is important for you to use as a yardstick, not to make the same mistake again. And that is the basis of my argument. My biggest disappointment, neighbor, is that we lost a period that we should have capitalized on and turned this country in what
my biggest disappointment is that Eddie Siaga did not get one more term, sir. Me, I tell you the truth.
89 was bad. I mean, neighbor, just think about it. Look at crime. I mean,
yes,
we've cut crime into half. We cut crime in. We got a what, 50%, almost 50% reduction, right?
Yes.
No. Let me just break this to some people. Andrew Holness' administration is not the first to achieve that.
Yes.
Because Eddie Siaga achieved the same thing in 1989.
Yes, sir. But you realize though that crime is linked, or the multiplying of crime is linked to the economy.
Absolutely. It's a driver.
You have to understand that, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, there's a philosophical theory that is called existentialism. And it is, you know, that when you Chops, you should never say you wouldn't do a thing if you are not placed in a position to choose to do that thing. Don't
never say never.
Because you see, to survive, sir, you see, when you're hungry and to survive, you don't even know what you wouldn't do, sir.
That is true.
Mr. Chops, the Jamaican people need to wake up. If we are going to preserve the gains we have made, we need to stop thinking so political and stop thinking about our party and think about our country. We don't have a better path than the one we are on now, sir. We don't have a better path.
You know what is also important for persons to recognize also, neighbor, is that I'm saying this now because of what is happening in the political space out there, especially within the JLP. Right, and you must have heard some of the noise and the nonsense going on. But let me just put something in context for some folks. The PNP spent 18.5 years, Scratchy, in government from 1989 until 2007. And I would ask any Jamaican to tell me if they believe that the PNP won those elections because they were great stewards of the country's economic affairs. Let that soak in for a second. They did not win consecutively and maintain 18.5 years because they were great at what they do. A matter of fact, it is the dead opposite. It was the worst period of the country. Why did the PNP win those elections, neighbor? Why?
Well, you know that so some of those questions, if we should posit some answers here, they may lock down the show tonight.
Neighbor,
it's true.
I say these things because I am shining some light on some conversations.
And then we talk about democracy.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
then we talk about democracy, sir. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then we talk about democracy.
We lost.
United States.
No, go right ahead.
No. What I'm saying to you is that we democracy, we speak about these things, sir, as absolutes, right? As if democracy somehow means that the same man gets to vote the same way and the same one vote, one man, and all those things.
Yes.
And to be frank, those elections were pretty unfair in many ways.
Absolutely. And when you couple it,
and that was part of what hurt me as a young man growing up in this country. And this is part of what I think hurt Mr. Siaga, because I think he knew.
And what happened also, neighbor, God bless Ryan Peralta. He worked tirelessly to fix that system. And I will boast about that today, that Jamaica has one of the best electoral systems in the world. There's no other country that has a better electoral system than Jamaica. It is first class.
Yes, sir.
But neighbor, when you couple...
And independent.
Absolutely. When you couple what took place in the 1990s and you match that up with the internal self-inflicted wounds that we had going on in the 1990s,
yes,
we also contributed to the PNP wrecking this country.
That is the message you're sending to those folks that are over in Central Kingston.
Yes.
Huh.
I'm saying to us, don't lose sight of the fact that the PNP did not perform exceptionally well during the 1990s to maintain state power. They maintained state power because of what we're seeing manifesting itself in Central Kingston right now.
But I know you don't want to go there, but since as you have gone there, Chops, this matter, and the party has tried to keep it out of the media, so rightly so. But give our listeners an idea of what, as brief as you can and as measured as you can, what is happening?
You see, this is not something new. What you're hearing and seeing happening there is not something new. And I will go a step further to say, what you're seeing and hearing coming out of Central Kingston is exactly why we were not able to win that seat for so many years. Yeah?
Oh my.
That exact behavior is why we were not able to win that seat for so many years.
You think the
That is the
party
reason.
got this under control, though? This is not going to spill over, although it really has gone a little farther than I thought it would have eventually gone.
I don't think it's going to have the effect that some would want it to have. Why? Because I think a lot of persons know the players, and I don't think the expectation is higher for those persons. The persons who are involved in this, brawl, I don't think the expectation is high. As a matter of fact, I don't think people are expecting it. It's not something new. The only thing that is different is that it is happening at a time when there's not an election around the corner. That's the only difference. Yeah. But it is something that has always happened. It has always happened.
Yeah. All right, Chops. Want to thank you, man. Take care of yourself.
Take it easy. All the best to you and all the best to your guests.
Okay, bye-bye. Take care of yourself.